Já foi com o olho a marejar, é a ilha que leva, mas nunca levou. Saudade é dourada a corda.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Saudade Generation Tuga podcast. Today, I have a member of the Portuguese community in the Greater Toronto area, a participant in Carnaval, a person that has many, many talents, Natasha Sousa Machado. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for the invite, and thanks for having me. This is really exciting.
Thank you. Let's get the people a bit to know a bit or get a feel of who you are and where you came from. So tell us a bit about yourself and your parents, where they're from,
Yeah, so my dad is from Quatre Beiras, and my mom was born in São Pedro, but we associate ourselves more with Terre-Chão, which is where my grandfather and stuff was. She was the last of three kids, so she just got to be born in the city, but our hearts are all in Terre-Chão. And I was born here, but pretty much raised all things Seda, all things Portugal, and Portuguese was my first language. I lived with my grandparents until I was 6. So when I went to kindergarten, I knew English because obviously my brother was 6 years older than me, but English was not my first language. So that was fun.
A lot of us Portuguese have that. Our parents taught us Portuguese first. And I guess it's maybe in hindsight now, I can look back at it and say it actually helped us in growing up Portuguese because that's what we lived. First thing we knew was that.
100%. So my parents actually, like in our home, we speak English. Like my brother is not as fluent as me, but depends how many maybe beers he has. Then he gets more fluent and more confident. But living with my grandparents until I was 6 really forced me to speak Portuguese. And then also dances starting at a really young age. It just happened. And I'm grateful.
Yes. How was it growing up Portuguese Cearense in the GTA?
Growing up was way better. I think I enjoyed it better then. Those were different times, obviously. But it was awesome. We were at Saudade at Stupel. My parents actually met at Lusitania and got married at Lusitania. So their wedding reception was at Lusitania. And then my grandfather was a part of the Dresam there. Then I guess Saudade at Stupel came about and he started going there. We were there every weekend. So that was it. He was always a part of, he was usually the treasurer, so he wouldn't go to bed unless he counted the money and everything. Tava tudo certinho, senão ele não ia para a cama descansar. But it was awesome. We were always at parties. I'd take the day off from school to go with him to go pick up the pigs for the matança and pick up the cabbages. It was like a whole thing growing up.
That's so cool. I remember once I went with my grandfather to go get the bull and prepare the pork for the matança of pork, and I remember that stayed with me for a long time. So that should be so cool for you, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, why is there a whole pig in your back seat? But you know what? I'm not going to question it. Let's just do this. It's a day with Grandpa, and let's go.
And what was as a kid or as a child, what was your first cultural memory that really gave you a photographic memory of
my first dance.
Yeah.
I was 4. So I'm going to age myself now, but I think that was 97. And it just happened. I don't think I was supposed to go in the dance. So my brother was already in dances. He had already gone into Dança Espada with the late Manuel Barcelos. But then he was in dances with Chic das Lajes, the son Isaac was teaching, and Ruben and all those guys. And it was a dance of just young guys. So there was no room for me or anybody's little sisters. We'd go to all the practices and there was just no room for us. There was nothing for girls. And then the dance came about. I guess there was, I'd be wrong to comment if I knew if there was a dance before with all girls there. But when I went in 97, I was the shortest one in the back. And we actually went to Montreal that year, which was great too. That was my first time my first dance and going to Montreal. So it was a double whammy. And I think I don't remember. I'd have to ask my parents. I remember my lines. They gave me lines at 4 years old. But it was that was just it for me. I had so much fun.
And right away, did you know that you wanted to be a part of this tradition?
1,000%. It was like, when is the next one? I was always around it because my brother was already in them, and then right. So my grandma used to help in the kitchen, and my mom, and we like Saudade was something else, and I'm sure you remember with that other room.
It was small. Yeah, the other room with the pool table in the next. Yes.
It had a lot of heart. Like they would hear like the mother who assumed like when it's ending, and eles iam para a cozinha fritar pianas. Like where else? I mean, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like they were crazy. Like it'd be fresh, and then sometimes they would taste like cigarettes because they'd be there waiting, right? But like it was one of those things where it was just like and then there was another dance. I think there was a dance that came from Saudade that was like, ai que a gente comemos o pai. I remember the assunto and everything. Like it had to be like, they had to transport the dad, and the dad had like, they put ashes in a box for his ashes in a cake mix. And they ended up making the cake, like, whatever. Dad's ashes. But that dance was so funny. And I remember Saudade Stubble, like it had mirrors everywhere, but it just looked so full. Like the mirrors were sweating. Yeah. And those were like the best days. Like that, I just knew that Carnival was my happy place. In all of the things you say, that is my happy place.
Oh yes, I agree, and I feel the same way. And I really, really enjoyed going to Vitória Setúbal as a kid with the Dança das Crianças, not only because I like the room that you were talking about where a gente jogava os manecos and all the kids used to hang around, but it was so cozy to dance. Everybody felt so close, and everybody laughed so profusely, and it was one of my favorite places to dance. So.
I'm literally getting goosebumps as you're saying that, because you just feel like it was just so much like passion in that room. And of course, like Lusitania, like, was great too, but I don't know. It was just something special about that place that just hits home for me.
I agree. And after that first dance, did you like go every year, or were you looking for a group, or how did the continuation of Carnival work for you?
I had no choice almost, but I didn't need a choice. We were all very close knit. So it was basically Francisco Borba that was the head of the group. And Feliciano Pereira was the ensaiador. And it just was natural, right? Because we were there every weekend. And it's like, obviously, you don't need an invitation. Like, you're coming. It's just the way it is. So Ashley Gomes, Borba was pushing. And then Neuza Ahuda was pushing, which she's from Miguel. I think she was born in Habpeixe, which was crazy. All of her family play, and Bandas Senhor Cruz, they still play like Maro and stuff like that.
Yes.
And her dad played accordion, so it was just like a family affair too. So I just kept on going every year until Saudade Setúbal basically shut their doors.
And were you always a dançarina in those years, or dançarina?
Yeah. So I was always a dançarina, but actually the assuntos were written by Senhor José Fernandes that's passed away.
Yes.
So he always wrote our assuntos. And as much as I did not like talking in a dance, I would hide in the bathroom on the day that I would see Phil coming with all of these assuntos, right? Because that was the beauty of those dances back then. It was the simplicity in them, where as crianças, os dançarinos é que faziam o assunto. Right? So a gente só não tocava, but everything else a gente fazia, right? And I'd hide in the bathroom hoping that he'd given out all the assuntos already. And then he'd be like, Natasha, tu não podes esconder, já tenho aqui com o teu nome. I didn't enjoy talking just out of being nervous. But looking in hindsight, I guess it was just nerves and not being confident, and being around older people who are a lot better than you made me nervous. But I was always a dançarina and talking in the assuntos, essentially.
And obviously, when you get Papéis de Assunto, you mentioned it at the beginning there, it really helped with developing your Portuguese. And as the years would go by, you would feel you're getting better at it.
Reading. So like at 4 years old, I already knew how to read Portuguese because my grandfather, like, he wasn't strict at all, but like he would make a point to make sure he was teaching me. So like, you know, Saturday morning or Sunday morning when the new newspaper is out, like, vamos ler o jornal juntos and let's read this. Like, he used to put a lot of effort into me learning.
Nice.
And I wanted to learn, like, sitting at vontade, like, what is, he's not going to turn me away, right?
Yeah.
My mom came here when she was 9. So she doesn't really know how to read or write Portuguese like I do. She always says, like, she knows, I don't, right? But yeah, it definitely helped. Like, I knew how to read, but like obviously memorizing was hard. Like at 4 years old, like I had 4 lines and it was like repeating in my head like 100 kilometers an hour all the time because I was like, I can't mess this up, right? But like, thank God, I think I have a really good memory. Almost too much. The girls laugh at me all the time. They have an encyclopedia of just verses and words in my head. So it just helps. And I think you get better as you get older, and having good people around you helps. Like, I talked in a dança espada and I hated it. I despised it. Like, it was, I think it shaved years off my life, to be honest. It's eufala. Like, like in Carnival, you can say it and it pode ser mal, mas you laugh about it and then keep going. While it's like, mine, you know, like that talk that they talk, it's like,
it sounds exaggerated.
It was exhausting for me. I was like 13 years old. I appreciate the experience though. Like, it was like, if somebody were to ask me like, hey, would you go in dança espada and talk again? Like, I would do it just like to help them out because I wouldn't want anybody to say no to me, but it's definitely not my thing.
Your forte. So I could presume that to watch, you prefer a comedic dance than uma dança de piada.
Growing up as a kid, 1,000%. Oh my God, quando a dança de piada entrava ali pra dentro, you'd be like, oh my God, like, this is gonna be so boring. Everyone's gonna be, you don't understand. You know, things like, it's crazy. My niece at 16 years old prefers watching dança de piada than the English, right? She has that appreciation for it. I don't. I was just like, I didn't. Now I do. But it's one of those things, não é bem feitinho. Like, if it's not done well, then I lose interest because it drags a bit. But for me, Carnival is about fun and laughing. And
yes, I agree. And I love, I can appreciate a good dança de piada. Especially, I love cantigas and as moldas the dança de piada. But the assunto has to be really, really well written, and it has to get me from the beginning. If I find at the beginning that it's dragging, then I give up. I get up.
100%. So like, you know, there's people that watch dances and like, it's, everyone takes something different from it. People take like, oh, the clothes, or as cantigas, or as passagens, and it's hard to agradar a todos, right? But when I watch dances, I kind of pay attention to everything like that. I like the clothes, the passagens, the music, the tone, the mesh, like, you know, the assunto, as rimas. Like, I really like the rima. I'm old school in that sense, where I like, if Natasha rimar para mim, deixa piada. Right? So it's one of those things where, I don't know, it's hard to, it has to be captivating. And I think a mesh makes a big difference in uma dança de piada. Deixa marcar presença, right? Like the one that came from the Gelage, I think I cried from beginning to end because it's relatable. I lost a cousin to substance abuse. So to me, it was just like me and my mom, they were already on their way to a different club, and me and my mom were still sobbing at the table. Like, it was just unreal, so beautifully done, so relatable to what's going on.
Presence on stage.
Like, and just the assumed, like, it was just so hard, like it just hit us like a ton of bricks. But it was beautiful, and it's rare that you see that. Like, I mean, there are beautiful danças de piada, right? But we don't see them enough where we are, obviously. So it's something that when I do see one, and I do see that it's great, like I appreciate it for sure.
And since we're on the subject of dança de piada, why do you think less are organized here in Canada? You think if it's the work that it takes to organize one?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I mean, like, And maybe it is the work and maybe it is the talent. Like, I think we have the talent, just maybe people just don't want to do it. Like for me, like I did Pandade, but like I never considered myself a great person at Pandade. I did it because the Pandade was dying at the time. That's the reality. And the Pandades are usually associated with guys, and men do a lot of Pandade. And I was just like, this is not going to die in our hands. So me and my cousin started doing it. And like, there's way better people, women here that do it, but it was just, you do it your own way. And I feel like it's hard for people to kind of break through where, you're going to be judged. You are.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to be judged if you're great and you're going to be judged if you're not good. So it doesn't matter. But I feel like maybe it's that, and maybe it's a lot of work. It's a lot because there's a lot of contigas. All of the cores are different too.
Yeah, it's true.
So you need, I think to do it in Dança Espada here, you need to have people that are really committed, like as dançarins. It's not like a bailing, it's not jokes, it's quite serious. And there's a lot of work on the dançarins too. Because every chord in the assunto is different. So they're basically, eles também têm papel.
E muita passagem também para os dançarinos.
Learning like 6 or 7 choruses for a dançarin who's used to learning 2.5, because usually the one for the assunto is 3-4 lines. That's a big change.
You're absolutely right.
And then you need a banda, like it's a whole thing.
And it takes a bigger workload logistically to organize, and the ensaios have to be a bit more serious. Not to say that you can't have a good time. Yeah, you still have fun. That's the word I was looking for, but has to be more serious, and things have to be taken more seriously. But I've been thinking about this recently, about this thing about Dança Espada, and I can't put my finger on why. And that's why I wanted to hear your opinion. Sometimes other person's opinions can enlighten, but I don't know.
I wish I knew the answer to that, to be honest. But I hope my niece one day, like she just started this year, and she's loving Carnival, and she's been in dances before, but she has a real thing for Dança Espada. Like when we're watching Dança Carnaval from Saudade, she's like, can we just skip to all the Dança Espada because there's enough bailings for you to watch? And I'm like, well, maybe she'll surprise us one day. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't have it in me to do it. So I'd love to be a dançarina, though. I've never been a dançarina at a Dança Espada.
So okay, that's something to look into. You were talking about your transition to meshed. How you explained a bit of how you got there, but how was the experience? Would you like nowadays? Is it something?
Honestly, it was horrible for multiple reasons. So we had a brief pause between, I guess, maybe 2.5 years, 3 years between me pushing and the last dance I was done sitting in. And it was horrible because I expected more from the community, to be honest. We had like 1 or 2 people that came to our ensage, obviously I won't say their name, to be in the assumed. And they came to the first practice and they never showed up again. And it's one of those people because they're either too good or they thought that we weren't going to be good enough. And it was horrible. It was horrible because it started off that way. And then we ended up having some piadas in there that had no names, like nothing, like, like we could talk about this, but there was no names. It was just like a little 1-2 line. And then the other dance that it was like about just went crazy. Crazy, like to the point where there was like physical altercations. And I'm like, this is absolutely insane. So to be honest, this is the stuff that spoils people like second generation from doing it again. Like my cousin Andrea hung up her boots. She did one more dance with me, hung it up and said never again. And she's never been in a dance again. And she loved it because it just spoiled it for her. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, of course.
But that's the reality of consequences of actions, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it was horrible, but I didn't let it stop me.
Okay, and was that the one that you guys were dressed in pink? Yes. Okay, I remember that dance. Was that after that dance you took a break for Carnaval? Could it be?
No. I kept on going by myself. So we did 2 dances. Me and my cousin pushed 2 dances, and then I did maybe 4 or 5 by myself pushing.
Okay.
And then the best. I got Chic Borba to push with me. My idol. which was O Passeio a India. So I was super, super lucky because my dad wrote that assunt for us, and my dad wrote the Cantigas for us. And I was pushing with the person who taught me everything I knew. So that dance was like totally like I could have died that day and died happy. It was just amazing.
Satisfied.
So satisfied. And the community really enjoyed that dance, and they still talk about it to this day. And then I got to push with Ashley. And so me, Ashley, and Sheik, with the three of us, his daughter, which was really, really nice.
I think I was confusing the other dance with this one. I think because I remember I think Sheik was being there. Yes.
Yeah, Sheik was there and we were wearing pink with the Indian dance.
Yeah,
that was Sheik. That was when I pushed with Sheik, and then that was for Carnival. And then for Easter, we pushed me, Ashley, and Frank, so his daughter. Actually, I sang him a verse in the Carnival dance, and it said, "Ito vi que tens like you tens desejo, and I'm gonna give my pandeiro to your favorite partner." And then she pushed the last farts with us, and then we just looked at each other and we said, "Well, obviously we need to continue this." So we did another dance for Easter, and we pushed the three of us.
Oh, nice. That must have been fun for her with her dad and her friend. Must have been amazing. Same thing for you with your I guess your mentor or idol or Carnival idol, I guess.
Yeah, it was cool. Awesome. It was awesome. But if you watch the videos, go on YouTube. Like they beat me. They totally beat me in mesh. But I never let that stop me from continuing. Like, the community, unfortunately, can be real cruel, like really cruel.
Yes.
Like I remember in a dance I was pushing by myself, and I'm pretty sure like Marwa and Leslie stopped me from like committing a whole fight in one of the clubs because some lady literally said to me like, "You're too fat to be a mesh." And I was like, "Do you even have ankles, lady?" Like, I was just like, "How dare you? You have a beautiful voice, but you're a little too fat." And I was like, was I out of breath that I couldn't sing? Like, did I not do my part? I was like, this is unbelievable.
Classic no filter old lady, Portuguese old lady.
So I told her, me, I'm very honest. I told her where to go, how to get there, almost drew her a map. Like, I was just like, you're unbelievable. But I never let like the comments stop me, honestly. And I always appreciate like the people that were there in my first dance, like that, kept pushing me and anybody who supported me along the way. And honestly, anybody who didn't, because it's part of motivation, right? Yep. You can't please everybody.
No. And if you go out of your way to try to please everybody, you're gonna have a miserable life. So
that's why my massage now, I do the minimal amount of massage possible. And I'm like, you know what? I love you guys, but I have a really demanding career, which is, like you talked about my break. I took a 10-year break. After my grandfather died in 2017. It really never was the same. He was like a huge like supporter of us and all his grandkids, because all my cousins went in dances. I think there's only out of 8 grandkids, I think only 1 of them or 2 of them didn't. And it was just not the same. So I just didn't continue. But then obviously we had to do something. So Sheik did a dance in 2019. And then obviously we wanted to come out for Carnival, and it was just, I'm happy to be back. I don't know if I'm fully back, but it was nice. And it's just one of those things where it's a lot of work. And in those 10 years, I built a really, really, really good career for myself. And obviously you can't take a step back from your career to do a dance.
No, absolutely not.
So I'm about minimal practices and just being efficient and having fun in the meantime.
Yep, which is the most important part of it, is that we have fun. That's something I learned I've said it here before on the podcast, but something I learned in Portugal when I went there for Carnival is that practices are not to be serious. We're here to have fun. We don't get paid for this. So this 100%. This has to be our fun. And I totally dove into that mentality nowadays. Now, then after, were you already organizing it in those last, or just recently did you start being encargadora?
No, in the last, the ones that I did with like Sheik and stuff like that, like I was still like the one that was like mainly organizing it. Like it wasn't like Sheik or like Ashley and stuff. It was mostly me, okay. And then like with the help of my dad, and my dad was really involved, my mom. But like, having Sheik and Ashley there, like they're your soundboard, right? Like my dad wrote everything. So then actually before we paused, me and Ashley pushed the dance, a blue and pink dance, which those cantigas were like, that was my dad's best work. Like that was just beautiful work. And that was the last dance that we pushed. And it was just usually me with whoever, but I'm very much like, and people don't usually do this, but I like I can't please the entire group, but it's a group of people that we've been together for a long time. So I want everybody to feel comfortable. Like we all have different bodies, me being a bigger person, like, you know, when it comes to clothes, like I always try to accommodate everybody because we need everybody to feel comfortable on stage. And we want, if you're uncomfortable, it's going to show. And so it's a little bit different than how it was done back in the day. But yeah, like mainly for Carnival and Easter this year, it was basically me. But I had like my dad, I had, you know, she came to a practice once, and Ashley, his daughter, is like my right hand. She's my soundboard. Like, está pronto para ir para papa? Está pronto? You're fine. And I'm like, is it ready? Are you sure? Because, you know, you always have that little bit of doubt. But
especially when you're organize everything, you want everything to be right. So sometimes you overthink things, and it's good to have somebody there to be able to sound things off of.
Yeah, for sure. Like she's literally my right hand. I couldn't do it without her. And then like the clothes, for example, like for both Carnival and Easter, I had no part in it. I looked at my cousins and I was like, design department, that's what we call them now. You're dealing with the clothes. Like, I don't care. Just deal with it, order it, and like thankful for them, right? Because you can't do it all. No. And juggling a career and you know, family life and things are going on in your life. Like you can't do it all. You just got to delegate and trust the process. And
like every good leader in whether it's a CEO, a leader, a captain of a team, or anything, any good leader knows how to delegate and delegate to the right people. So it's all part of what it is. What do you find in organizing when it's approaching, Carnival is approaching, and you're starting to organize? Okay, how do you come up with what are we going to do? What's the assumed? How do you get creative with these ideas?
It depends. Obviously, like in the previous years, my dad would be like the one mostly with the ideas. We'd bounce it off of each other. For Carnival, obviously, you know why we came out for Carnival, which we can talk about, but that was like a dance that I just been like, this is what we want to talk about. These are the points I want to hit. I want to be respectful. I want to be professional. You write whatever you want. And João Mendoza came up with that. But for Pascua, we wanted to do something more relevant to like our generation and using ChatGPT and how reliable we are and how Uber Eats and things that, you know, are kind of, you know, relatable to today. And that's what I just went with. That was like my idea. And it wasn't exactly what we wanted, not with that he didn't write it, but the idea that we wanted couldn't work with the amount of people that we had speaking. So we had to kind of, you know, João Mendoza's, you know, brilliant, and was able to rejig it in a way that we needed it, because just I'm trying to get more people to talk and kind of giving them that, but you know, you have to do with what you have and the comfort level. But that's usually how it is. And I usually ask around the group, like, what do you want to see? Or, you know, what do you have any ideas? I'm an open book. Like, I take all the suggestions.
So you kind of like brainstorm with some ideas and then you put everything together type of thing.
Yeah.
And music, because you guys had some cute, I call it cute music this year. And how do you pick and choose, like, maybe with a Carnival twist would be nice? Do you have like musicians around you that help with that, or?
Musicians is a touchy subject around here. You should know that.
Yeah.
So for Carnival, we went out with 4. For Easter, we were just a bit more lucky because Tyler stayed home. So we got some of his musicians to help us out. You know, if you're not continuing every year, you lose your group, right? Yeah. Like for Carnival, I can't tell you I'm going out or not because I don't know who's doing a dance. I don't know. Like I can't. I'm a very like spontaneous person. I'm not spontaneous. I am very like cautious, but also spontaneous. Like I don't think too far ahead. I like to just, you know, think about, you know, tomorrow and not, you know, 3 months from now. So like people are probably already inviting people over, you know, the bullfights and stuff like that. And I'm late to the party, and when it comes to Carnival, and I'm going to have like a bundling and a guitar or something. Right. So no, I don't really have like much musicians or much help in that department. Just like, again, just a lot of time trying to find something that's going to work. We had a song that we really, really wanted to use for Easter for the Despedida for me and Ariana to sing, and it didn't work out because we didn't have a lot of time, and the music couldn't learn it. So then I had to pivot to a song that I've used many, 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 many years ago, and poor Zananch had to rewrite the music.
Yeah.
We had to learn, and we had the verses of 24 lines, and we had to learn them in like 10 days.
Oh. Yeah, so big cantigas there to learn.
Yeah, so we crammed them in. We made it work, but it was tough. But it's I don't really have that mind like that help. Like I'm sure like people like Bando Senhor Chris, they have everything there, right? Like they have Jonathan's super creative, Adriano's super creative. I don't even know who's in charge of their music, but they have the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I understand
right?
what you're saying. Yeah,
sky's the limit when you have that much, right? And God bless them and anybody who has that much, But the reality is, for other groups, is we don't have that. We have to do the best we can. And I remember back in the day, Chic de Gelage went out with one guitar and an organ. That was it. And that was enough. He's like, I'm not having music stop me from going out.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that mentality from him as well.
Yeah. I guess that's a good part, good attitude to have towards it, because
people come up to you and they're like, "Oh, mas a senhora, we have ficar em casa só porque não tem música. Olha, pá, frente que é caminho. Like, what are we gonna do?"
Yeah. Absolutely. So now you had that break. You concentrated on your career, and. Okay, so let's go for it. What was the cause of you coming back to Carnival, or what pushed you to come back to Carnival?
Obviously, it was the Rapaz Montreal dance. Goes without saying. I think there were people in the community that loved it. Obviously, because you guys weren't talking about them, obviously, and people that probably don't like us, or like other people that were talking about, the people that you guys were talking about. And I was just like, I was not gonna lie, I was heartbroken. I was like, I can't believe that. Like, because of course, like, I am of the opinion, in Portugal, they say whatever they want and they do whatever they want. And I'm gonna say your name. But here, we don't have the obligation to do, like, we're not obligated to keep up our traditions here. We do it because we love it, right?
Yeah.
And I just know that when people are offended or they see things that they don't love, I've seen it firsthand with my cousin, who never went in a dance again and was just as passionate as me. And it's like, I'm all about adding value to the tradition and not like taking away. And I feel like if you're offending people, or people can be offended, which you may or may not have, anticipated that, it was the reality of it. Right.
No, definitely. The intention wasn't to offend. It was to definitely poke, but not to offend. And I could see how now, in hindsight, after having talked to you privately and everything, I can see why you were offended. But I'm still not sure of my stance on it now. Not the specific situation with you guys, of the whole naming people in the assumed. I'm not sure where I stand yet, and that's my honest. I don't know.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we said names in our last one, right? Like, we said names in our last one, but there was like nothing bad. I mean, it's obviously people want to poke and prod, but it's just like, I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think it was just very like one-sided, and it was just like, there's some things that could have been said about other people, and other people got away scot-free. I think when it comes talking about putting horns on a woman's head, like, that should be out of the question. Like, you shouldn't do that. Like, I think, to me, that's just like not very respectful, but that's just my 2 cents. Like, right? Like, but, there was people that were like applauding that dance like crazy, because obviously they were talking shit about my family, and they're like, yeah, fuck them, or whatever. Sorry, I swore.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where it's like, 10 years ago when I did that dance and said less, you tried to fight us. So it was a lot of hypocrisy. Yeah. It was like, I was hurt by what was said, and not just about me, about others. But then I was just like, I went from being hurt to being pissed off. Because I was like, wait. We said less, and you guys tried to fight us. Not to try, you guys were successful. You know what I mean? And then I think once I made my post and people got to see my side of it, I think they realized that it's not about so much what was said, but it was the reaction, right? It's just like, it's same thing goes for both fights. It's like one person can do it and it's okay. The other person does it, it's the end of the world. And that's just the community. Like, honestly, there's nothing you can do.
We also have a lot of fake people in the community too that play both sides also.
Unfortunately there's a lot of that. And you know, eu acho que as pessoas aproveitam com pouca coisa, like unfortunately.
Yes.
And you know, there's people that to me, it was like, now in hindsight, like, I'm glad we got to like obviously clear the air with all of you guys and move forward and move on. You know, I'm happy for the people that stuck out their neck for us. Obviously, like Leslie didn't have to, and she did, and I'll never forget that. Right? There were families there, like, you know, there was just. I don't want to be at the point where I'm getting text message saying like, don't go to the club to watch dances because they're going to talk shit.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
You know, like that to me, tira as pessoas do clube. And don't you guys, aren't we all crying that we want people to watch us? Nobody wants to sit there and have 600 people, or depending on how 300 people staring at you, waiting for your reaction of what's happening on the stage. Yeah. Like, that's not good for the people who are also watching.
No, I empathize with that part for sure.
I stopped watching dances. I don't go to like, I'm one of those people that I talk shit about. Because I'm a hypocrite in that sense, because I don't know what's going to go up there. And like, just because I'm like a Gunna's daughter doesn't mean I want to be wrapped up into that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be always wrapped up into that. And, you know, my dad sometimes, like, he's a very honest person like me. And sometimes, you know, he's wrong and sometimes he's right. And when he's wrong, I'll tell him that. And when he's right, I'll tell him that. But I'm also not a punching bag, right? Like, I don't want to be that person that's sitting in the hall and have everybody staring at me. It's not a good feeling.
No.
Right? So to me, that to me is also what is I don't like about having such like direct. I think you can say what you need to say without saying it, which was my point of coming out for Carnival. Where I had piadas for tons of people, and if you knew, you knew, and if you didn't know, I'd like just keep going, right?
Yeah. I definitely feel what you're saying, and I understand why you feel that way, and I can say this from the 2 years before. That was kind of what we did. The 2 years before that dance, we did the first one, which was only the Comedia, and we talked about a few people. But in a playful way. Then the second year we talked a bit more other people, and it kept on getting a better reaction, and we thought that was going to be our style. We thought that was going to be our style, and I think now in hindsight, and I'm thinking out loud here, I think in that year we exaggerated too much. We thought that was our style, and what we asked for. We put him in an impossible position, and I think now some things could have been done differently in that dance.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, like, no one's perfect. Things happen. Like, if you guys were come out with a dance like that again, then like, you know what? Like, then you guys are asking for all the heat, right?
Yeah, of course.
But there's nothing wrong with like trying new things and learning things. To me, it's about accountability. Like, you know, I was seeing comments about it. I already knew your dance was going to involve us way before you guys went on stage. Only because it was like, oh, ele vai precisar guarda-costas, like like those are things that, like, if you guys if people really thought that there wasn't going to be any harm, then why would there need to be bodyguards? Like, it's just like stupid talk, you know?
It was kind of to create anticipation.
Bullshit, and let's just say you guys knew vocês iam ser pisados, like ia ser pisado, right?
A gente sabia que ia fazer merda, that's for sure. That's for sure.
But back then, everyone was like quiet, and it was like, that wasn't my intent. Not you guys, but other people. Some other person was like, that's not my intention. It was like, that was exactly the intention, though.
No, the intention was to create a buzz and to create anticipation. That's why these people were saying these things about guarda-costas. It's because we wanted people to be waiting for us, and what are these guys going to say? That was the point, and that was also part of what we thought was our style. And then this year, doing it the way we did and cutting a lot out because we wanted to move away from that. And then the response from the people was amazing. So basically we just figured out that wasn't our style. Yeah,
like this, like I watched you guys in Mississauga Club and I sat there like, what is going to happen.
Oh, you weren't
you and I haven't had that conversation yet, right?
No.
So I'm there like, what's it going to be? And like my family, like everyone and people in the hall are looking at us too, right?
I can imagine.
So, like, you have to I don't know if you know what that feeling is, but it's not good.
No.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, shit, like what's going to come out of their mouths? And, I enjoyed it. And it was great. But yeah, I think you can say what you need to say without saying it, obviously, like I said. And listen, like, no one's perfect. If someone's going to come out the gate and do that again, and it's not you guys or it's somebody else, like, it's fine. We can't control other people. Sometimes people have a message that they want to get across. It is what it is. Obviously in Saudade, they get away with it. They do whatever they want, but it's their tradition. And I think that they have, not that they're obligated, but it's easier for them to do things, right? I have people traveling in my dance 2 hours to come to practice.
Oh, yes. And I see that a lot. I've talked with people from California, and they do that a lot. And it takes a lot of vontade to do that.
2 hours to come. And then, like, we're going downtown. So, like, I practice at Graciosa. Like, you're constantly fighting for parking. Like, it's not easy. And then I have people who are doing snow removal, like, and trying to learn lines. It's horrible. And then you want to add to the tradition and not take people away from, watching at the halls and things like that, like I had mentioned. So I just think moving in a positive way and playful, and obviously poke where there needs poking. Yeah. Like, there's things, we're in July. I already have a notepad full of things I want to say, because this community is like, it's like a Netflix documentary that never ends with BS, right?
Oh, yes.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I think it's almost like the OLG slogan, like, know your limit, play within it,
Yeah. And I could say this. I try not to care what people think, but from now on, I will try to put myself in other people's shoes before, in not only Carnival, in general, in life, before I go forward with something, because I don't care what you think, but I do care what I think if it would be me. So I don't know if I'm
because like,
I'm making sense.
I think a lot of like we're hot. Like, we come from a terre dos bravos. Like, we are hot-headed people, and like, we see things that we don't like, or we hear things, and like, I'm speaking for myself. I feel like I just like this anger or this like heat comes over me, and I just want to explode, right? But then sometimes it's like, it may not be as it is, or it may not be as somebody said, and sometimes we need to have the whole story. And before we make those decisions, or before we have those conversations, or we give those opinions, and it's hard because, like, everyone always says, like, oh, Slovenia tuga, but you're gonna take papas na língua, and he's like, no, but like, now I'm trying to like bring it back, because it's like, maybe I am being too rash, or maybe I don't know the full story, right? And it's hard because, like I said, like, there's so much in this community, so much fakeness. It's horrible.
It's definitely hard. I'm reading some books now to try to learn how to control myself, and obviously it's not working 100%. But that's another story.
You know what though? I respect that. And I think as we get older too, like we have to have a different perspective, because the people that are older than us are already stepping away from things, and the decisions that we make today pave the path for the future. So
very well said.
The people older than us, they paved the path that they did. And whether we like how they did things or didn't like how they did things, we learned. We learned what works and what doesn't work. And now we have all these younger generations behind us. Like, I had Safira, Flavio's daughter, in my dance, who I think was 12 years old, and she was talking in her first dance.
Wow.
My mom, 59 years old, talked in her first dance. So, like,
see that gap.
There's that huge gap, and like, you want to bring older people back in who've never been, and you want to bring the younger people in, and they're not going to come in with this. Yeah. Now, like, we have there's so many other things that we can be doing with our lives than doing dancer's practice.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
To me, like, I think that our generation needs to lead by example, and we need to pave a path that's less amount of BS as possible, because nobody wants that.
No. Nowadays, no, they get turned off pretty quickly. How do you perceive this younger generation and their involvement in Carnival?
Oh, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. I think that there is a perception though, like, I just feel like what's going to kill us is our music. Que a vontade a gente tem. But I can't tell you how many people stayed home that are great tocadores.
Oh.
Like at least 10 I can count.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So there's that. And I feel like the younger generation, it needs to be fun for them. I think it's going in a great, I consider myself part of that young generation. I think it's going into that. I think we just need to get more younger people that have never been in a dance before. I think there's still room for that. And it's just, you need to get them involved and you need to create that environment. And like, Tyler has a great environment and his group is doing well. And I wish him like all the success in the world to continue. And if I can say anything to anybody out there is help the leaders because we are tired.
Yes.
Help them with what you can.
Good advice.
The last time I did a dance, the girls were like 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old that I had in my dance. They were all in the back, right? And they were like jumping, like nós elas davam três. Like it was great. They must have been so tired. And now they are 20, 19, and they're so useful. The one was bringing the hope of from the Castrata here and there. And I was like, wow, like, look at that. Like you're now useful to me, and they're willing to help and they want to get involved. So involve them. And if they want to help with those things, like let them and give them the power and encourage them. Like I gave all the power to my cousins to decide the clothes, encourage them. And I told Ariana, choose the music. I didn't choose the music for Pasqua. I gave her my suggestions. She chose them.
Yeah. Make them feel part of the process. Yeah.
Which is something we didn't really get.
Never.
Right? The older people wanted to be in control and they knew best. Excuse me. And they probably did. But things change.
Oh, of course. Even in my 20s, and early 30s, doing dances with my dad, it was hard to get my opinion through. and I was 25, 26, 28. So to see this 20-year-olds getting involved and we're giving them space to involve themselves, that means everything. That means we're moving forward. We're progressing in that 100%. Aspect. And that's amazing. Before I move on from Carnival, because Carnival is not the only thing part of our culture, I'm just interested and intrigued. How did you guys get together? And when you guys came back after Danse du Rapaz Montreal, how was that conversation of doing a dance again? Like, what are we going to do? Not what we're going to do.
I was pissed for months. Like it was like August and I was still cussing you guys. I'm not going to lie. Like I was mad. Like I was just mad. I was like, I can't believe they did that. Like so disrespectful. And then they wonder why people don't go watch. I was losing it. And then someone's like, just give them a response. And I was like, ugh. Actually, it was Jonathan. Jonathan's like, Natasha, you know what you need to do. Just give them a response. And I was like, and he's like, do it. He's like, I haven't done it for 10 years. He's like, figure it out. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I knew, I'm going to be honest. If it was my dad's way, it would have zad like you guys.
I believe so.
And he's like, I think to this day, he's not satisfied. Right. And it's like, Dad, my way. Like I'm doing it my way. Like I can't go do what they did and then be mad at what they did. No.
I understand what you're saying.
I was very like, we're going to do this. And I was like, and I said, I didn't have a conversation with the group, but anybody, and that's one thing that's very special about the group that it's not even my group, our group. Something that's super special about them is that we are all family. So there's my family, my cousins, and there's Ashley family and her cousins. And then it's like Flavio and his family. Like we're all just one, like 2-3 families as one. And that's what's like, and we have a couple friends here and there, but we're basically like people that we've known for a long time. And they all knew what happened and they watched the dance. So they were very like supportive of it, but they all wanted to make sure that it was going to be done in a respectful way. Like, you know, Ashley, she's a machine talking and like, she's like a hybrid of her mom and her dad. It's just insane. And she was like, oh yeah, like I'm 100% in, but we can't say names. Like we can't do this, we can't do that. And I was like, no, it's not going to be like that. And that's how it kind of came about. It was just, we needed a response. And I wanted to make sure that the part that was about you guys knew it was about you, and I don't think it was like, you know, it was offensive. And obviously we had Zenunj in the dance and my dad, and they were, you know, my dad had differing opinions than Zenunj and I, and it was great though, because that's a part that it kind of got to where it was, and you know, and Zenunj wouldn't do anything that, you know, jeopardized his name. Like he's you know, he's a performer. Yeah, and I kept on asking, like, you think it's okay? He's like, yeah, you're not saying anything wrong. And then there were some words there that João Mendonça used that he thought weren't good because they were too heavy. So he switched it out for us. And like, to be honest, João Mendonça is a poet. Yeah. And I speak the Portuguese that my grandma learned back then. I don't speak the Portuguese that they speak in Estado now. Yeah. And I don't know what those words mean, right? So I was really thankful for him to be like, oh, change this word. Don't say that word. You're calling this person that. And I was like, what? Yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I was glad to have his insight too. So it was just something that kind of came organically. And I'm happy I did it. I had a lot of fun. And honestly, I hadn't acted in probably since I was 13. Yeah. So it was nice to get acting again. It was nice. I enjoyed it.
And to close off this part of the conversation on Carnival, I'm really glad you guys came back. I'm really glad, and I hope you guys continue.
Thank you.
Every year. Okay, so now let's get into the bit of the iffy part, which is the community. If that wasn't iffy, man, what's coming next? How is it to be the daughter of Ganadeid?
I can only speak of my experience because obviously, like, you know, everyone likes to, you know, it's great. It's July, the 3rd. I've gone to one bullfight. That's probably record breaking for me because I would have gone to 6 or 7. I've taken a step back from the bullfights, which we can get into, but it's fun. It's rewarding. But it's exhausting, and it's not peaceful. Our community, like, we've been doing bulls here for a while. I don't know how many years, over 30 years. I'm 33 right now. So I've been around it for probably 20 years or so. My dad has been doing bulls for 10 years. This is actually our 10-year anniversary.
But he was a pastor before he was Ganadeid, right?
Yeah. So he's been a Ganadeid for 10 years, and he was pushed on for other Ganadeiros in the past before that. So I've been around it for about 20 years, and it's honestly, it's getting worse. It's horrible.
You think it's worse, that the drama is worse in the bullfighting community than it is in the general Portuguese community?
Oh, 1,000%. It's toxic. It's horrible. This is going to be horrible, and I've said this to you, but like, if the only way for my dad to stop is for this to end it all here, then it's like, somebody do something about this, because my dad doesn't want to end, and he wants to keep going, but I have no interest in it. Like, it's not the same. Like, you know, I think social media has a big part in that. You know, and like, nobody wants to admit that they're wrong, and nobody wants to, you know, everyone holds grudges for stupidity, and it's just like nobody, like, it's just stupid. Like, you know, 2 years ago, we didn't put our dates out because my grandma was dying, like, literally. And then we ended up putting our dates out late, and ended up being on top of somebody, and it was like World War III. That's marcou em cima, blah, 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 blah. And then this year, the same thing happened. We also have a bullfight next week. Ouviste? Alguma coisa? No, crickets, because ain't nobody got anything to say.
I saw it, but no removed. No,
ouviste, because it was the other way around, right? And this is about that hypocrisy, and I don't want to get into it. I don't want negative comments on your podcast or anything like that. It's one of those things where it's just like, and that's,
if you want to say anything, you're totally free, and I won't let nobody. Listen,
it's English Costas Grandes, like, they've already talked enough about me. But you know, it becomes bullying, and like, I've been bullied online by them, like, oh, you're fat, you're hairy, you're this, like, from grown ass Ganadeid. I've had Ganadeid like literally say like sexual assaulting comments to me online. Like, it is horrible. And like, and then they still like are praised and put on this pedestal, and you're just like, are you guys blind? Like, and it's like, I don't want to choose one or the other, because to me, I'm going to be very honest. I don't have to like that Ganadeid, but I respect what they're doing, because you're spending time and money to keep this tradition alive here. You know what I mean? I respect that. 100%.
Yeah,
And
because to be clear, no Ganadeid makes money in Canada.
Exactly. So what are we competing for? Who's going to lose the most money at the end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is stupid.
Good point.
This is stupid to me. Like, to me, there's enough weekends for everybody. It's like there's a few things that you can do that won't piss off somebody else. You know, don't use their logo, which has happened to us. Somebody used our logo, and it's like, what? Like, what? Why? They used our logo, they made t-shirts and did whatever they want with it. You know, don't book on someone else's dates, and maybe like find somewhere else to do bullfights. And, you know, like right now we have somebody else doing bullfights where we are, and we weren't happy about it. And it's not about who it is or anything like that. It all just comes down to risk. Like, you know, somebody said, oh, it's easy. Now you can do bullfights anywhere you want. Like, you can do it at any fairgrounds. No, you have, like, maybe that's your story that it was easy. But for us, it hasn't been easy. Like, I've had to write letters saying that we get, like, and show receipts to show that we buy our meat locally in Orangeville. We buy our pop six locally in Orangeville, because they don't want this. That's the reality, right?
They'll find any reason to not allow it.
Exactly. Like noise exemptions and this, and it's not easy for us. It's not easy for anybody out there. So to me, it's like, you know, there's a politics between the Ganadeid, and that's one thing. And I think that that's something that's never going to change. I think that's part of the culture. One thing I can hope is I don't think that's going to change between, you know, my dad and the older ones. You know, the ones we get along with, the ones we don't, we never will. That's the other thing. The community's like, oh, unity, like pack it up, shelve it, because there's too much animosity and too much history there for people to forgive. There's a lot of things that have been done, a lot of things that have been said, and the community always has something to say. Like, you know, if somebody gets invited to a bullfight and they don't want to bring it, or they go and they're not in the picture, or they're, you know, they're there but they're at the end of the picture, like they don't want to be there, just shut up, they're there. And if they didn't go, they didn't want to go because they don't want to. Like, always comments for something, you know. And it's unfortunate because, again, like, people just want peace. We just want peace in our lives. I'm sure everybody else wants it. But that's one layer. And then you add the canals, and it's like another one. And it's like, what is happening here?
That's another layer that's a big, how can I say this? It's a big part. It's a good thing, but sometimes
it's not.
But sometimes it's like it has both ways, but sometimes the bad can outweigh the good.
Yeah, and that's like was our point. Like, you know, we got called a lot of things when we said, you know, only like no canals or no this. And it was because, coming back to my same point for Carnival, if you're not contributing positively to the culture, there's no room for you here.
Like, why are you wasting your time then?
Like, you're just causing more drama than you are good. So why? Like, antigamente, if you wanted to know if qual os tours correrem ou se os tours foram bons, tinhas que ir para o Clube de Voeiros, para o Bilhar, telefonar. Now everything is here. People are recording. Hey, what did you think of this? What did you think of that? And I think that that's good until a certain point, until it's not. Right? Like, we don't have, like, you know, in Portugal, a cow dies, há subsídio para isso. Touro morre, há subsídio para aqui. Like, there's subsidies. This is what they do. They're helped. Here, we're not helped. We bought one time 4 or 5 bulls, young ones, novilhos, and they all died before they got to hit the the thing because it came with a bacteria, and we got vets and everything involved, and we were me and my dad were literally hand feeding these bulls, like it's crazy, and you know, you lost your investment, like you know, like you mentioned in your other podcast, it rains, you lost all your money. Yeah, our first bullfight was canceled due to the rain. My parents are out that money. They still have to pay the fairgrounds. They still have to pay insurance. That's the part. The part of being a Ganadeid that nobody sees the expenses, the feeding, the time, because it's not only going to get the bulls. You have to go up and take care of them, and sometimes maintain it's a far drive away. Maintain the things, keep them in a warm place, because here in Canada it gets cold in the winter. These are all things that have to do with being a Ganadeid, and I think I agree in the part where unity is going to be hard to have one way or another, because we're Portuguese, and even worse cities, but but because we see partidos in terceira, and they can get pretty heavy too. But I think there's a way to, you don't have to like somebody,
but can you at least tolerate and respect each other's presence? I don't know. I think there's place like you for there's place for everybody.
Yeah, like to me, it's like, we did that. Like JJ invited everybody, and it was fine. Like everything went fine. It was a great run. We weren't like really happy to be out there because obviously like that was like the week after of like the home invasion and stuff, which we've never really talked about publicly because, like,
you can if you want to.
We're the type of people that like, as much as we're outspoken, like kind of shot on a mama kind of thing, and we don't go crying. Like, if someone books on top of us, we don't go crying about it. Like, we don't go on Facebook, like, you didn't see anything. We didn't go crazy, crying, going on a canal, like, losing it, spitting, screaming. Like, when Orangeville, said, we don't want this anymore. You guys are not contributing this and that. We had to, we don't tell people all of our business. We like to keep our cards close. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to like something that, put my parents in that situation. So obviously, getting to that, it's not a lot of people know where my parents live in the community. And obviously coming off a really big bullfight that we did last year for Festa Justa and Quatre Betas, just honoring the two villages for my parents. It was beautiful. We had not all the Ganadej there, but the ones we get along with there. But again, that was a big thing. Oh, you didn't invite them, but like, get over it. Like, it's fine. And we're not going to invite somebody. You don't invite somebody to your house that you don't like.
No.
So if it's somebody else's house, and they invite us and them, that's different.
Yeah.
But if I don't
you're organizing the bulls, you invite the Ganadej you want.
Exactly. So we had that. We had the bull late. It was beautiful. Obviously, ended up into not a really great ending, which, everybody took their own 2 cents of what happened there. And I'm not even going to comment on that. But then obviously, like, 2 days later, somebody's, 3 guys were breaking into my parents' house, beating them, throwing my mom around, like invading the house, hitting my dad with a brick, had a knife, like looking for the money from the bullfight. Like who knew where my parents live, knew exactly what time my dad gets up for work. Like, we obviously were snaked by somebody in this community. It's obvious.
Obviously.
And obviously we haven't talked about it because it was an open investigation, and it still is technically an open investigation, but we've come to peace that we're not going to find out who did that. But at 4:00 in the morning and having your dad like get beat in the face with like a brick and your mom get thrown around like a rag doll in every room in the house, like, you don't get over that.
No. And it's not a phone call you want to receive.
Yeah, and I received that phone call from my mom, and they took all like and someone's screaming at you saying, "Where's the effing money? Where's the effing money?" And you're like, "What money?" And they know, but they can't say it. Like, obviously that was a planned hit, and to me that was like a. Okay,
so this had nothing to do with this was a robbery. This had nothing to do with what happened at the bullfight earlier.
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
We don't know. The police think it is, but we don't know. But it was obviously somebody that knew where my parents lived and knew their routine. And there's not a lot of people.
And knew there was money. Yeah, that's definitely something nobody wants. And if it would be me, and I empathize with you, I would want to back away also. So
of course. And then you have like jerks that are like, "Oh, Slovene has a big mouth. He deserves it." Who deserves that?
No.
If for you to say that, like, you're scum of the earth. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, I feel bad for the community because there's so many good people in it. And when we say the community, I don't want to offend the people, the good people, but there's just, a group or a couple groups of people that just prey on someone's downfall and aproveitam com pouca coisa. Like, it wasn't just long ago. My dad said something in an arena and somebody took a clip and sent it to somebody and said, "Oh, he's talking shit about your bull." It's like, that's not what it is. Like, and then, they cry and like, "Oh, leave me alone. But like, leave us alone. Like, I just want peace in my house, peace in my family. And it's like, it's not peaceful. Like, I love it when it hits October and there's no more bulls. It's like, I could chance. And then Easter comes along and you're like, "Oh, it's coming again." That's how I feel. And that's how I know that something is wrong, right?
Yeah. Not supposed to feel that way about something that you used to care a lot about.
It's ruined for me, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that's just like, having bulls is not easy. Like, we had a power outage, then the lines broke and the water started freezing. My dad had to go there every day and like carry like water for them. And it's just, you want the animals well cared for, and you want your facilities to be well cared for, like your arena and all that. And that all takes time and money. And my dad barely enjoys his summer because he's always at the farm or always, at the plaza.
I see him all the time in his car and doing live. So he's always moving from one place to another. He's always
moving. It's like, if he's not working, he's at the farm, and if he's not at the farm, he's at the arena.
Yeah. It's a big responsibility. And I
just want them to travel and enjoy their lives, and it's just not something that they want, or he wants at least, but it's something that I just don't find joy in it. And I do find joy going to other people's bullfights because I don't have to work, but it's one of those things where it's like, you can do all this good and it's just never enough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's really quick to judge and nobody really knows. And I just think people should just take a step back and, like what you said, think about how the other person is and maybe get the full story before being so reactive.
Yes, less reactionary. Yes, exactly.
Right, because everyone's brave on Facebook.
Oh, that's the easiest part. Keyboard warriors, that's the easiest part.
Yeah.
I had here a question here, but I think you answered it throughout this podcast. Was what do you like the most and what do you like the least about our community? But I think you've answered it in various different answers here. So yeah. I'm gonna finish this in a positive note. Yesterday you participated in the fan walk for our Portuguese national team, and I saw pictures and videos. Just mentioning that gave me goosebumps. How was that experience?
I just got goosebumps. That was like so proud to be Portuguese. I was so happy we showed out. I actually work with a lot of Croatians, so I was like, we cannot lose. Like, and I know Croatians, like, we love Luka Modric. They'll show up for their country. They showed up last time, right? So I knew that they were going to show up, and I wanted to. I was telling my mom, I said, the Portuguese people better show up, because one thing about us is we don't like fighting for parking and we don't like traffic. Yes. And coming to Toronto involves both of those things. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, I hope that. I know it was really hot, but it was unbelievable. I'm sad I didn't get to go to the game, but I'm just so happy I got to participate in that. It was honestly everyone of every culture. So many Colombian jerseys screaming and singing our song. So many South Asians, so many Asians, just Canadians, just so many other people that they're not Portuguese, but they're singing their heart outs and singing our songs and our chants, and it was just absolutely amazing.
And that's to watch that sea of people. I guess you were right in the middle of that. So
we started off maybe about 3 meters from the front where the bombos were. Mm-hmm. And then because there's all these side streets,
people join in, and you just become further in the back, right?
But either way, it was an amazing experience. It was hot. It was really hot. But I'm a little upset with the city because they canceled 2 of our viewing parties. Due to the heat. But in my opinion, com vontade tudo se faz.
Oh, yeah.
So they just couldn't handle us, and that's okay. We made our own party, but it was beautiful. It was awesome. It didn't matter if you were from Madeira, if you were from mainland, if you were Saurian, it didn't even matter if you were Portuguese at all. It was just, we're here for the country and just chanted our way through.
And the game wasn't too stressful for you?
Don't even talk to me. So I'm a Habs fan.
Yes.
To the core. Me, my dad, my mom, and my brother, we're all Habs fans, which is not easy living in the city of Toronto and being a Habs fan.
I can imagine.
But I equate our seleção to the Leafs, where they're really great on paper and are
interesting.
But they it's not, sometimes they choke, but also they just they're almost there, and they always keep you on the edge of your seat and can never, like, they finish the job sometimes. Like, the Leafs were a great team, but like they choke on the 8th game or whatever. And it's like, it's that constant like sea of emotions. While, the Habs, we're pretty much steady, and either we're steady or we're horrible.
Yes, it's one or the other. Yeah,
one or the other. But we have all the superstars like the Leafs, and it's just like, why do we have such a hard time putting in the back of the net? And I just wish they played more like South American soccer, faster passes, not always passing back.
Push forward. Oh yes, that's something I hate about this year is this passing back, passing to the side.
What is this?
The point of the game is to score goals. It's not to have pass accuracy.
Backwards. And it was just like, did our defenders forget how to defend?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that second half that was there for a moment. I thought too that where's our defense here?
I was like, and then there's things that they're doing, and I was like, I learned this in house league.
Yeah. Yes.
Like these are like little things that you learn in house league, like 10-bit soccer. What are we doing here? Right? It was
we couldn't be Portuguese, and our seleção wouldn't be Portuguese without the drama also. So there's got to be drama in that Ronaldo situation.
And I don't want to be one of those people to add to that, right? Like I think Ronaldo. I don't even want to comment about Ronaldo. Like I'm also a Benfiquista, so like I automatically don't really care for anybody that comes from any other team, right? Like Pep, I love him with a Portugal jersey. I can't stand him with a Porto one, right?
Same.
So it's one of those things where it's like I was never really like a Ronaldo fan. Like I've always respected him. I think he's amazing. I think we're proud that he's Portuguese. I think he's accomplishment. I do think he's the GOAT. But I'm not like a crazy fan. So to me, everyone's chanting Cristiano Ronaldo, and for me, I'm just like Portugal because it's not just about him. They have to play as a team, right?
Of course.
And I think that's also not helping because they're Portuguese and there's egos and they don't want to give him the ball. And sometimes they give him the ball and he doesn't do it. And quantas vezes que a gente não marcamos à espera do Ronaldo, right? So it's like it's tough. It's tough, but I don't want to give them too much slack because they have a lot of pressure, and Portuguese are not happy. They're never satisfied.
No. One way or the other. So there's always find something to complain about.
You know what? The same thing that's happening in our community is basically like the seleção. No matter how good you are, how bad you are, they're never going to be happy. You just got to keep going.
I would be lying if I would say I wasn't surprised to hear the boos though during the game every time Ronaldo would touch the ball. Those Croatians were pretty loud there.
Croatians love their country. They love Modric. They did not want to go out that way, and obviously it was.
I feel for them.
I feel for them. There's only one team that could win, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it wouldn't have been good to, I would have rather played somebody else, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. On to Saturday and a Guerra da Península Ibérica.
Yep. And now we're hoping that Os Tubarões, Vozinha is a brick wall to Messi.
Yes.
Happening right now.
Yep.
And I'm cheering for them. I'm cheering for all the Portuguese speaking teams because I'm very proud of to speak a língua do Camões. And obviously, I've always been a fan of them, and just we grew up watching Brazilian soccer. So I'm cheering for all of them, and obviously Team Canada, but Portugal.
Yes,
first.
awesome. Portugal first, Team Canada second. All the way would be great to meet up. I think that would be a little far-fetched, but it would be a great emotional experience for me and for us Portuguese Canadians for sure.
100%. Watching Canada play was tough in the beginning. I think they're getting their rhythm now, which is great. But there were some things there in the first game, and it's hard to watch because they've also added a lot more teams. So now we're going to start seeing more quality soccer, right? In the beginning, if you watch soccer, and I'm sure you do, and like I do too, it's kind of hard to watch some games and you're like, what is going on? Because you're happy with the draw, right?
Yeah.
And to us, Portuguese, it's either you win or you lose. There's no middle.
No draw. Right? Draw is a loss for Portuguese.
100%.
I always feel that like another team ties, are all happy, jumping each other's arms, and Portugal's all down, even looking at the
miserable,
throwing their armbands on the floor, cussing. It's amazing.
It's so true. Yeah.
So força Portugal.
100%.
Natasha, I want to thank you for taking the time off your busy schedule and coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure having you on. I really enjoyed this conversation. We've been going on for 75 minutes. That passed like 20 minutes. That
passed like 15 minutes.
So I really appreciate it. And continue doing what you're doing in Carnival and all other things that I think we need more people like us in the community.
For sure. Thank you for your time. Continue doing what you're doing. I think this podcast is great. It's a great way for everybody to see somebody else's perspective, to learn a little bit more about how things are done here, because obviously it varies from different place to place. And I think our generation and our generations younger than us need to get involved. And I think the older people need to give us some room to do that, whether that be in Irmandades or in the dressage or anything like that. Let's just make sure we're encouraging our youth and also giving space to our older ones that, still need their voices heard.
Yes.
But thank you for everything. This was a pleasure. And continue. This is awesome.
Thank you. The goal is to show the culture to the younger generation, but also have my guests tell their story. And I think we accomplished this here today. So thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully you don't get any hate mail.
Don't worry, I take care of it.
Appreciate it, Michael.
All right, bye everybody. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time. Até já.